Okay, let's dive right into this explainer. You know how flight attendants always seem to just glide through airports, completely stress-free, while the rest of us are literally sweating through our sweaters? You've seen them. Calm, prepared, never rushing, never panicking. It honestly looks like a magic trick compared to the chaotic, anxious energy of your typical terminal.
So what's their secret? You might think it's just years of experience, or maybe they just have way better luggage. But actually, it's a quiet little habit most travelers never even notice. It's not some exclusive travel boutique or a massive budget. It's literally just a quick stop at a Walmart or a local pharmacy before the trip even begins. They're grabbing a handful of really specific items that quietly protect their comfort, health, and sanity for those long hours in the air.
And here is the absolute best part, the magic number. Every single item we're looking at today costs under $5. $5! They fit right in your pocket, and they have the power to completely transform a totally miserable trip into a smooth one. None of these are going to break the bank, but man, they work like absolute lifesavers.
All right, first up on the agenda, defeating grime and germs and keeping our surfaces and hands clean.
Now, we really don't like to think about this, but airports are essentially giant moving petri dishes. And your hands, they're right on the front lines. Just think about the journey they take. At hour zero, you're grabbing those security line trays. Those things carry more contact from strangers' hands in a single day than almost any other surface on Earth. Then, an hour later, you're boarding. You're touching seat armrests, tray tables, things hundreds of passengers have used right before you. And then, by hour three, you're using those exact same hands to eat your mid-flight snack. Yikes, right? It is a total recipe for a stomach bug that can absolutely ruin the first few days of your hard-earned vacation.
Well, flight attendants tackle this with a brilliant 30-second habit. Literally, the moment they sit down, they bust out travel-sized disinfecting wipes for the tray table and the seatbelt buckle to aggressively kill surface germs left behind by strangers. And then, they keep a completely separate mini pack of skin-safe wet wipes handy just for themselves. These are absolute game changers for wiping sticky fingers or freshening up when a bathroom sink just isn't an option. Like, you know when you're trapped in a window seat and the beverage cart is blocking the entire aisle? Yeah, exactly.
And this brings up a really crucial comparison. See, a lot of travelers will just toss some hand sanitizer in their bag and call it good. But here's the thing, sanitizer simply does not lift grime, dust, or sticky residue the way a physical wipe does. Sure, sanitizer might kill bacteria, but you're basically just smearing that airport grime all around your hands. A wet wipe actually physically lifts it away instantly with zero water needed. It's a huge difference. Moving right along to our next major hurdle, handling unexpected travel delays and surviving those brutal layovers and cancellations. Because let's face it, no matter how perfectly you plan, weather and mechanical issues are totally out of your control. Picture this, your connecting flight gets unexpectedly canceled, the hotels are completely booked up, and you're stuck sleeping in a totally uncomfortable airport chair. Total nightmare, right? But a $2 preloaded disposable travel toothbrush kit sitting at the bottom of your carry-on, that instantly makes you feel human again in the morning. Plus, because it's a single-use kit, with toothpaste already right there on the bristles, there's absolutely zero risk of a full-size toothpaste tube bursting and leaking all over your clothes during those weird cabin pressure changes. Now, pairing that toothbrush with a shelf-stable emergency nutrition bar is really the ultimate backup plan. Keeping your energy steady is so important. Finding a bar with real protein and modest sugar prevents that panicked, desperate search for overpriced, greasy airport food when your terminal has literally zero good options. More importantly, though, it stops the dreaded blood sugar crash. You know, the one that causes deep irritability and fatigue during a long delay. Oh, and for travelers managing medications that require food, having this tiny little bar in your pocket is an absolute non-negotiable must.
All right, let's talk about securing comfort and peace, protecting your vision, your belongings, and getting some actual sleep. When it comes to comfort and peace of mind, there are three extremely cheap items that can absolutely secure your sanity, both in the air and once you hit your destination. First up, a basic microfiber cleaning cloth. Costs almost nothing, but it instantly clears glasses that get all fogged up when you walk from an icy terminal into a super warm cabin. It's also great for wiping smudges off your phone screen so you can actually scan your digital boarding pass under that harsh fluorescent lighting. Then, we have the portable travel door alarm. You just slip this tiny device under an unfamiliar hotel door and it emits a blaring sound if anyone tries to enter. For solo travelers staying in budget properties with, let's say, questionable locks, this provides incredible peace of mind. And honestly, not just for you, but for your family worrying about you back home.
And here's a genius move. Instead of lugging around a bulky tote bag from home that just constantly gets in your way, grab a wallet-sized folding reusable shopping bag. It totally frees up your hands so you can actually use a cane or grab a handrail. Plus, it perfectly holds any extra duty-free snacks you might have picked up. If the airline unexpectedly forces you to gate-check your main bag, boom, it acts as an instant emergency carry-on. Oh, and on the return trip, it safely separates your damp clothes or dirty shoes from all your clean stuff. Seriously, a total game changer.
Okay, finally we arrive at the ultimate boss battle of travel, surviving the cabin environment, specifically combating that awful dry air and loud noise.
This is the harsh, aggressively dry, and roaring environment inside the airplane cabin itself. And this is where flight attendants really utilize their secret arsenal. They combat cabin fatigue by keeping their favorite lotion in a TSA-friendly refillable spray bottle. This completely avoids the nightmare of getting your full-size liquids confiscated at security. They also swear by a travel-size saline spray to prevent sinus issues, and they rely on our absolute #1 secret item on this list, silicone earplugs.
Let's actually talk about the air for a second. Did you know cabin air is often drier than a literal desert climate? Yeah, and that extreme dryness quietly attacks your sinuses and throat for hours on end. Just a light mist of non-medicated saline nasal spray every few hours keeps those nasal passages moist. It prevents that horrible scratchy throat, the sudden nosebleeds, and that awful dull sinus headache that can absolutely ruin your first day on vacation. Plus, because it's just saline, there's no weird medication and totally zero risk of dependency.
Now, for the ultimate insider secret, flight attendants totally ditch those cheap foam earplugs. Seriously, throw them out. Foam plugs expand, which causes this weird pressure and itching in your ear canal, and they just muffle absolutely everything. Instead, the pros choose silicone earplugs. These gently mold to the outer shape of your ear. They effectively silence the roaring jet engines and the crying babies while somehow still letting important frequencies like boarding announcements or safety instructions from the crew filter right through clearly. So you see, comfort and safety really don't have to compete.
So when you put this all together, you start to realize that these pocket change investments really act as incredibly cheap insurance against total travel disasters. I mean, think about it. Wipes stop the dreaded stomach bug. The toothbrush kit stops the groggy exhaustion of unexpected delays. The folding bag stops the frustrating physical juggling of your stuff. The door alarm stops hotel anxiety dead in its tracks. And those silicone earplugs, they stop the sheer draining exhaustion of non-stop cabin noise.
I really love the core philosophy behind all of this. It's just such a powerful reminder. Arriving at your destination, rested, healthy, and happy, it isn't some lucky accident. It's not about hoping for a decent seatmate or crossing your fingers for a perfectly on-time departure. No, it is a deliberate choice. A choice you make in the pharmacy aisle long before the boarding process even begins. So let that sink in for a moment. Think back to your last truly frustrating, totally exhausting travel experience. Which of these items would have completely saved the day for you? Before your next trip, you really have to ask yourself, are you going to keep leaving your comfort up to pure luck? Or are you finally going to pack like a pro?